Hey, what's going on, guys, and welcome back to Monster Tamer News, the segment on this channel where we go over the last week's developments in the monster taming genre. Now, this week's sort of going to be a cut-up version of Monster Tamer News. As you guys know, the Monster Taming Direct, which basically incorporates all of the major trailers and whatnot, just went live. So if you want to see over 40 new developments, including new trailers from Lumentail, Monster Crown 2, Bagdex, Coromon, Aethermancer, and more, that's where to go. It'll be linked below. But we do have some more news besides that, including a disturbing Nintendo patent that you guys have been asking me to discuss, the release date for Monster Hunter Stories 3 and a new trailer to coincide with it, some good news for mobile fans of Coromon, the release of a new demo for Time Stranger, and of course I've been showcasing exclusive content for that game, and more. So as per the usual, sit back, relax, subscribe for more monster taming videos, and let's dive in. Okay, so first things first, we got some pretty exciting news for Digital Tamers 2 that kind of came out of nowhere. Now, if you somehow don't know, Digital Tamers 2 is probably the most polished and popular Digimon fan game, which essentially acts as a monster raising and battling sim. It's the sequel to Digital Tamers Reborn. Digital Tamers 2 actually has a really cool history on this channel, as it was revealed at one of our Monster Taming Directs and subsequently released as a surprise at another one. The new update brings forth 50 new Digimon to the game, which is absolutely wild. Please make sure to check out Dragonrod's Twitter page, linked below, where you can find more information on the game, how to download it, and all that stuff. Guys, seriously, Dragonrod, the developer, is a major Chad. Speaking of the Monster Taming Direct, we obviously had Monster Taming Direct 2025 this year that took place on September 7th and is available for your watching pleasure if you have not seen it. Personally, I feel like this Direct in particular has brought forth the highest level of polish from the developers and a ton of high quality games that sort of came out of nowhere. A couple examples of this include Spherit, which is a Digimon World 3 inspired game and definitely one that I want to do a deep dive on soon. We had Stories of Somnia, which aesthetically looks amazing. I really love the art style. We had Trinity 64, which, while in the early stages of development, really wowed me with its N64 inspired low poly aesthetic, mixing Zelda, Dark Souls, and monster taming together. And there were a whole lot more that just sort of made this Direct a love letter to monster taming fans. Please make sure, guys, to share the Direct with your friends. It's already at 30,000 views, which is great, putting it roughly in line with the other monster taming presentations, which usually accumulate around 50 to 60,000 views over the course of a few weeks and months. But what I think a lot of developers need to understand about our Direct in particular is that it's not simply a presentation just showcasing indie games. You might have a more generic presentation covering a wide array of indie titles, which, no shade, those are definitely exciting for indie game enthusiasts. Clemmy Games does one. I've worked with him a few times in the past on collaboration videos. But something you need to keep in mind is that with these more broad indie game presentations, you might have a wide array of people watching, but some people are watching because they're fans of farming games. Some people are watching because they're fans of turn-based games. Some people are watching because they're platformer fans. Now, while there are definitely variants in gameplay when it comes to monster taming games, every single person who's watching is looking for a monster taming game, hence why they're here. This means that instead of having your game at a presentation that gets, let's say, double the views, but only has maybe a 15% portion of those views that are actually interested in your type of game, you'll instead have a full audience of people that are specifically looking for your type of game. It's highly targeted marketing, in other words. That said, I really want to continue to push the Monster Taming Direct forward and step up my game as well in 2026. I want to try to get some content creators in the space on board. I've already talked to a couple larger channels that might be interested in like introducing some segments. I'm going to reach out to even more studios, and I really want to try to get the attention of some AA publishers as well. The competitiveness of the Direct will increase as a result, but if we can get really big names on board, other titles that people never knew about, like Spherit, like Trinity 64, like Stories of Somnia, etc., are going to get a ton of attention from people that didn't even know they were looking for these types of games. So yeah, thank you guys so much for all the support with Monster Taming Direct 2025. I'd love to be able to do more of these, like having 2 a year, but every time I actually get down to putting one together, editing, sifting through all the forms, etc., I remember that it's a ton of work, and this is why I do it once a year. That said, there's a chance we might do something like a Monster Taming Direct mini or something in the spring where we showcase like 10 games, but I'll have to see what developers are saying. Okay, so if it wasn't enough that I was working on the Monster Taming Direct all this time, I was also flown out to Seattle in order to play Digimon Time Stranger early, and honestly, I had a blast doing it. I'm not gonna lie, I have not recovered from my trip. As soon as I landed, I was working on the Direct the same day, then I had to go to work the next day, then I had to continue work on the Direct while working full-time, until finally finishing that a few days prior to the the event. Then I had to start making my Digimon Story Time Stranger first impressions video because the NDA on that would come off the next day. That's linked below as well. And it wasn't just a simple video to make, it was basically like a review. So it took quite a while to get all the gameplay clips matched up with my thoughts and stuff like that. Then on top of that, I have a ton of content that's been coming out from my playtest, including some of the breakdowns that you guys are seeing now. So I've legitimately just been dead the last couple weeks, but I'm having a blast. That said, a demo just went live, which pretty much covers the early part of my playtest. It's about an hour long, but the footage you're seeing on screen now is from a different portion of the game, which I still have exclusive access to. Mwahaha. Expect more content going over some of what we're learning now that the demo is out, and pretty much through into the next month and October when the game finally releases. The channel is going to be pretty Digimon heavy, but that's why we have Monster Tamer news now, isn't it? We've got a couple of Kickstarter games that are live. The first is Yami Kids, which is being developed by the same creator of Dokimon, and the Monmei engine, which is basically like RPG Maker but for monster taming games. The game is already fully funded and did make an appearance at the Monster Taming Direct, so congrats to them for that. There was also the Kickstarter for Star Garden, which seems to be based on or inspired by that Sonic Chow Garden. I don't have a lot of experience with that, but it's basically like a cozy monster taming and raising sim. This one's overfunded as well. The Coromon developers, whom were also at the Direct, were pretty active on Twitter, where they did respond to someone's comment stating that their new game will in fact be coming to Android at the very least. We haven't got an official mobile announcement trailer or anything like that, but I think mobile is a definite no-brainer for them. They had Coromon on Switch, mobile, and Steam. I'd not be surprised if they make the same platforms again, and a ton of their audience came from Android, so it makes sense. We got the trailer for Monster Hunter Stories 3 Twisted Reflection, which is, again, the third installment of the Monster Hunter Stories franchise, or series, which is a spin-off of Monster Hunter, where you actually raise and mount monsters instead of just killing them. The release date was revealed to be March 13th, 2026, which is a lot sooner than I was expecting to see it, so that'll be a bit of a belated birthday present for me. Okay, so I've gotten a lot of people asking my thoughts about the recent Nintendo patent situation, which essentially people are saying it tries to take ownership of the game mechanic of summoning something and using it in combat. Now, the patent itself is 45 pages long, and I'm not a lawyer or someone who has any legal education in American patent law, so I can't really give a particularly educated opinion on this matter. However, what I will say is that a lot of people are assuming this patent refers to summoning any monster under any circumstance, which is not true. There are limitations and specifications to this patent, and there is a video that I want to put out which is going to be sort of reacting to another video that goes more in depth, so stay tuned for that. However, what I will say is that I absolutely despise the fact that a video game mechanic can be patented at all, and it feels like just a cheap way to stifle competition and bully smaller developers. But yeah, there you go, guys. Another week comes to a close, and honestly, Monster Taming Direct aside, a lot of news this week. If you are someone who likes monster taming games like me and want a channel that exclusively covers them, this is your one-stop shop, so make sure to subscribe, like, all that fun stuff. Also, special thanks to our supporters, especially Candy Marunci, Tragsoft, Valorware, Wrathful Beast, and Nemo, and we'll see you next time. Peace.